Do you want to? Do you want to touch it?
No, I spent too much time here. Fuck that.
Here's a little history lesson because, you know, we like to educate and shit on this channel. No one really knows where the origins of the spirit board came from, but one of the earliest mentions of the spirit board was back in China around 1100 AD, known as the Fuji or planchette writing, and was also known as an ostensible form of necromancy or communication. Similar methods were used around ancient India, Greece, Rome, and medieval Europe. In China, there are about 2 boards, one being the Fuji board, which is a formal ritual done at a Taoist temple, and a deity or god are invited to send answers or messages. Now, number 2, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. Viewer Chinese, please correct me on the pronunciation down in the comments. But I think it's pronounced Daisen, pardon, which is an informal game played by anyone, anywhere, just like our Ouija boards today. And that one is for more wandering spirits. And in Japan, they have this thing called the Kokori-san board. Very fascinating. I'll talk about that later. Now, as for the States, the good old US of A, spirit boards gained slight popularity, but weren't in toy stores yet, around the 1840s. Mediums used them for what? The same purpose. You guessed it, communication with spirits. Now fast forward to about 1886. The spirit board, or the talking board, started gaining more popularity in Ohio, standing in at about 18 by 20 inches, with the alphabet, the numbers, and the yes and the no, as well as goodbye written on the bottom. Apparently that's the earliest time that this imagery came about. Let's jump ahead about 5 years. Enter the man named Elijah Bond. You may or may not have heard this name, and if you did, good for you. You should know that he is the patentee of the board, the talking board, the spirit board. Now, because he is a patentee, that does not mean that he is the creator of it. Like I said, 1100. Now, fun fact is that Elijah Bond actually put in the patentee request May 28th of 1890, which was then accepted February 10th of 1891. Now, he had this other line that had swastika logos on it. So the company that actually produced the Ouija boards that he patented were known as the Swastika Novelty Company. Fun facts. But the boards were still unlabeled at this time, meaning they were not called Ouija boards. For the record, my homies and I actually went to his headstone in Maryland, and it is gorgeous. It actually has the Ouija board on the back of the headstone. Now let's jump ahead to about 1901. This is the time when a gentleman named William Fuld, who was one of Elijah Bond's employees, took hold of the company, thus changing the name from spirit or talking board to the Ouija board. Ouija is actually a combination of 2 words, the French word meaning yes, oui, and the German word meaning yes, ja, Ouija. Got it? Got it. And about 6 years later, Elijah Bond passed away. This is one of the reasons why Fuld's name is actually on the bottom of the Ouija board, if you've ever noticed. Is because he took hold of the company and patented the name Ouija. And here's a fun fact for you guys, is that William Fuld actually has the record for the most patents, totaling in at about 21 in about 3 countries in history, keep in mind. Now, after William Fuld passed away in about 1927, his estate sold the business to Parker Brothers. And in about 1991, Parker Brothers then sold it to Hasbro. These are the manufactured boards that you see today. Like this? Let me just pop one of these. Whereas the Ouija board is not a dangerous board in and of itself, you may want to watch the rest of the video. Be cautious. And enjoy. Now, every time that you purchase a Ouija board, they give you 3 standard rules that come inside of the box. Those rules are as follows. Never play alone, for the fear of possession may take place, and if you play alone, then there's nobody there that can potentially save your ass. Number 2, never play in a graveyard. You may irritate more spirits in the session than what you intend. Not to mention, you may invite too many spirits in, and it's going to be super fucking hard to close the session. Which brings me to number 3. Always close the session, for if you don't, you are going to invite that spirit to attach itself to your board, potentially making its way back to your house. It'll watch you sleep. Like I said, those are the 3 standard rules that come inside of the boxes when you purchase a Ouija board. But what about all the rules they don't tell you? That's why I'm here. Never play in front of a mirror. Mirrors are considered portals, which could draw in many more spirits than what you intend in the session. Never play with more than 4 to 6 people. Doing that will give the board more energy than what you want, making it really super fucking hard to close. You're only to play with a Ouija board one time. This can get a little costly if you want to keep doing it, but spirits are said to actually attach themselves to the board, even potentially after one session. If you play with one board multiple times, chances are you are going to attract that same spirit back, which could end up being a very malicious spirit. Which brings me to the next point. You are never, ever supposed to burn a Ouija board. This will potentially cause whatever spirit may or may not be attached to the board an escape path, which could then bring it into your life and fuck some shit up. Never play for longer than 2 hours. Doing this will cause the board way too much power and energy, also making it very hard to close. Never play at your own house. Playing at your own house could ensure a malicious spirit being attracted to your house and you. Never let a spirit count down backwards in the numbers or the alphabet. This does signify a very malicious spirit, or one in particular, whose name shall not be said. Also, never let the Ouija board do the rainbow pattern. That means the O to Z or the A to M. This signifies a very malicious spirit, one whose name, once again, shall not be said, who goes by 2 names. Very bad, very. Never let the planchette do the figure 8. If you do a sideways figure 8, once again, it is the same malicious spirit. It's not good. Never let the planchette fall from the board. This could potentially mean fly off of the board onto the floor, fly off of the board onto the table, or say if it is going to the no and going past it off the board. These are all bad signs. Malicious spirit. Never use the board when you're sick. This signifies to the spirits that you are weak and prone, potentially a good candidate for, you know, the biz. Not good. No bueno. Never ask a spirit how they died. This could potentially bring back residual thoughts and bad energy, bad juju. Nobody wants to remember that kind of thing. It's just not going to be a good time. Never ask about God. Just don't do it. Keep religion out of this. I know it's the spiritual world and all, but some things just... Now there is one pet peeve that I have. I have seen so many videos on YouTube of people playing with Ouija boards, and this irritates me every time I see people play. And that is, say if you are playing with 3 or 4 people, let's use 3 people as an example. You are supposed to circle the board 3 times while you're opening the session. That gives it just enough energy to go ahead and open up the session, and people don't do it. Say if you're playing with 4 people, you're supposed to circle it 4 times. Now, fun fact about this board right here, this very, very lovely looking board. We have no idea where it came from. This is actually Squeed's board. We don't know if it was actually at this house when he was renovating it, or if somebody had given it to him. He doesn't know. It does not have a planchette, and it is strictly just, I guess, for decorative purposes. We do not use this. I think they're really pretty, really nice. I love, you know, the layout and the lettering and whatnot. I wanted to do a video. Holy shit. Back to you, Kyo.
Hey guys, so that's where I'm going to end this video. If you liked what you saw, then definitely click that thumbs up button for me. It really helps me out on the channel. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Down below, there's a subscribe button somewhere in one of these corners. So if you like really spooky content or games or whatever have you, this is definitely the family to join, and there's going to be more stuff coming up. And if you've stuck around this far into the video, I want to note that on both Instagram and Twitter, I am more readily available for conversation. So if you have an account, definitely go and follow and have a conversation with me. Until the next video, I will see you guys then. Bye!